Well, hello. We'll wait a few moments for folks to join in. Hazel's having a blast out the window. Probably end up on my head here. Hazel being super weird. What do you see, Haze? What is it? What is it? Hello. This is why I don't usually do this with a laptop, and I end up doing it with my phone. Or I could just sit at a table, but by this point in the day, I'm pretty fried sitting at a desk or a table or doing any of those things, so this is the most comfortable thing for me at this moment. Hey, Lindsay, see you signed on. I see a couple people are joining. We have a few viewers here with us. What day is today? Wednesday. Today's definitely Wednesday. Feels like Friday to me. I don't know, it's been a really busy week. It's been a busy day, but I've been mostly sitting at my computer or on calls, doing a lot of Zoom meetings. The new buzzword that I loved so much. Zoom seemed so cool to me until it became my life. And now every time someone says, let's do a Zoom meeting, I'm just thrilled to be on another Zoom meeting. Hey, Keisha. Hey, Carrie. Hey, you guys, gals. Thanks for joining me tonight. It's been another day. I was just listening in. It is Wednesday, Keisha. It's already Wednesday. Or only Wednesday, depending on how you want to look at it. I was just listening in on the Peer Learning Collaborative that's been established here in Rochester and has now gone virtual. So it incorporates folks from all over the state, and it's open to all. Jonathan Westfall is one of the folks that helps facilitate it. A couple of really great organizations involved. Today's call was the first virtual call, and there were people literally all over the state. Albany, Buffalo, I think there were folks from downstate. It was a really good time. I had to get off a little bit early so I could join you guys. This is my favorite part of the day, where I get to see, right, quote unquote, see all my favorite people. Speaking of, Mary Jo just joined. Hi, Mary Jo. So it's been a busy day, but a lot of really great things. And right before I jumped on, I like to take a few minutes to kind of reflect on the day, maybe do some meditating of sorts, or just take a breath before I join you. And today I went on the app I mentioned once before called Insight Timer. It has all sorts of meditations. There's a free version. There's a paid version, but I have the free version. And I listened to one of my favorite, she's also on SoundCloud, I want to say. Live Awake is her channel or whatever you want to call it, Sarah Blondin. And she's one of my favorite people to listen to. And the one I listened to today is called Accepting Change. And actually, I looked it up on Google. I'll post the link to the YouTube video here in the chat. I'm not sure if I could do it. Yep. She's really incredible. Something about her voice, something about just the things she says. It's so powerful. It really resonates with me. And so this one was about accepting change. And it really got me thinking, not even so much of, yes, accepting change, but really this idea of impermanence. Yes, Carrie, you know her. I love her so much. So this idea of impermanence, right? The only thing that's permanent is change. And this idea that, we work so hard to get this picture perfect life, right? Or this vision of what we want our day to look like. We have all these sort of goals and plans, and when they get thrown off, think about how thrown off we get. I don't know what it's like for you, and please comment as we go along. When dogs, when things change, what does that do for you? You know, Haze. We'll just deal with that. She'll probably bark. It's cool. I may have to leave. This is the really good thing about working from home, is that you're constantly interrupted by barking dogs, and they don't listen, and I don't want to start yelling because that doesn't look super professional, whatever. Okay, so I'll just stand by my counter here. Yes, so the idea of impermanence, and think about the ways in which, or how you deal with change and how you deal with uncertainty. I know, when I think about my week, I look at my calendar, I think about all the things I'm going to do, and there's some days where I get thrown off. Usually it's most days where things change, right? And it's really about our attitude, because change is the only constant in our lives. Things will continue to change. And I've gotten a lot better at really this idea of acceptance. Sometimes I do get worked up, especially when I have this plan, or it's a busy day and I get delayed or things aren't going my way. But sometimes I get these freebies and these gifts to really enjoy the day and enjoy the moment, right? And have these experiences I wouldn't have otherwise had things not changed. So I'm thinking about, I've had a lot of conversations lately about normal, right? Things going back to normal. I've seen a lot of memes flying around on Facebook about, kind of like, be careful about the normal you're trying to get back to, right? Is that the kind of stuff you want in your life again, right? So today, this is my new normal. The quarantine, the physical distancing, this is my normal, right? What was normal before is no longer my current state. And the longer we fight reality, the longer we suffer. And this kind of Buddhist thought is pain is necessary, but suffering is optional, right? The initial shock of pain or the initial shock of change causes some pain, but it's what we do with that. Suffering is kind of self-imposed a lot of times, so the longer we resist this new normal, the longer we live in the past or we live in the future, we take away from our experiences. We take away from really the gifts and the magic of today, of this moment. And, a lot of folks are struggling. Many of you, I know I've had days where I'm struggling, but then I think back, in my old normal, there were days that I was struggling also. My life wasn't always great. My old normal wasn't perfect all the time, right? Much like these days aren't. And sure, we miss social interaction, or we miss doing the things we used to do, but we're having all these new experiences. Mary Jo, pain is necessary, suffering is optional. I love that. That's actually a Buddhist school of thought that one of my best friends, Pat, who many of you know, Patrick Mullen, who passed away in 2017, a few months before Center opened. He introduced me to Buddhist thinking and to a Buddhist-based approach to recovery. And I remember he used to say that all the time, and that just blew my mind, that I have a choice around suffering. I feel pain, I stub my toe and I feel pain, but as I'm walking around cursing at the world because my toe hurts and it sets off a bad mood or whatever, that's self-imposed suffering, So, if we look at this very moment as our new norm, if we look at this very moment as our really our existence, right? Then we're not as stuck in what the past was like or what the future may be. It's all about, we talk about being mindful, being present in our lives, showing up for our lives in this very moment. And I don't know, and creates better days. It creates a better attitude. And we talked about, oh, my phone rang. I'm sorry. I forgot to put it on Do Not Disturb. Bear with me. Bear with me, guys. Another awkward Yana recording. Carrie can relate. She's my awkward partner in crime. Sorry. And the other thing I was thinking of too, in terms of change and this physical distancing and how we're sort of, quote unquote, trapped at home, did many of us not ask for this? And that was in Sarah Blondin's meditation. How many of you have said, oh, I just need to slow down, or I just need a few days, I need a vacation, I need a break where I just don't do anything? Right? And it really hit home when I heard her in the meditation just before. Well, yes, I've been saying I just need a couple of days to myself, or I need a break, or I need whatever. Granted, this is more than a couple of days, but isn't this the universe fulfilling our wishes for a break? It just doesn't always come the way we want it to, but it comes. I believe, really, it comes at the right time, at the right place, in the right way. And this may be a time for us to do some self-reflection, to do some unification, to practice acceptance, to gain some more insight, learn about ourselves. How many of you guys just keep so busy and are always running around, and you never really have time to spend with yourselves? How many of you are seeing that you're not comfortable spending time with yourself? I know that's something I experience. I stay super busy. I'm always running around. I'm doing this, that, and the other thing. And then when I have this free time, I don't know what to do with myself, right? There's a level of discomfort, dis-ease that I experience. And this time with our physical distancing, with the situation that we're in, is allowing me to learn to sit with myself, right? I have no other choice. And we've talked about, making a choice to do the right thing, or making a choice, having power over our thoughts. So I have the choice to sit in sort of morbid reflection of my past, right? I have the choice to think about poor me, and to sit in suffering is really what I'm trying to say. But I choose not to do that because that does not help me experience the world. That does not help me show up for others. It doesn't help me to live according to the principles I've set out for myself, that are true to me and true to my being. So on this beautiful day, again, going back to living in gratitude, I'm grateful for these realizations. I'm grateful for this time I get to spend at home. I'm grateful that we're able to do these Facebook Live feeds. That's not something we were doing before. It's new. It's innovative for us. And I think it maybe shows we learn about ourselves, about each other a whole lot, but I think you learn about us too. You see the humanness in all of us, and you see that we're no different. We're all in it together. We're all human. We're all just doing our best every single day, right, to get through whatever we're facing. But the gift of all of it is we're not alone. I don't have to suffer in silence, right? I don't have to suffer in isolation. When I use my voice and I connect with others, when I build community, that's when the suffering really goes away. And that's why when I experience a sense of connection and a sense of peace, and even in a time of disconnection, I've built such strong relationships and such a strong foundation that I'm unaffected, right? I continue to cultivate and grow and nourish the connections that I do have. So I was thinking about, spring coming around, connections. I was thinking about change, new beginnings, new growth, kind of rebirth in many ways. We're coming out of this different than what we walked into, right? I was thinking about planting seeds, like actual planting some kind of plant. And any of you that know me know that I don't have a green thumb, that I've killed anything green, anything that lives. There's actually a plant behind me. Funny story. See that plant? Well, we have two identical plants. One is here, one is at ROCovery Fitness at the center. And our volunteers, which by the way, we have to water that plant if it's not dead yet. Our volunteers keep that plant alive. They water it, they care for it, they talk to it, they caress it, whatever needs to happen for these plants, right? And so by the time that this one sort of falls to pieces because I forget to water it, I don't, communicate with it, our connection's not as strong. So as this one's on its way out, I'll swap the plants. So then I take the healthy one and bring this one back. And our volunteers and our members, how symbolic, right? They bring it back to life. They nourish it. They love it. They support it. And when this one goes, we just keep doing that. So anyway, I was thinking about this process, and I'm thinking about, planting seeds, planting new growth, accepting our current situation exactly as it is, exactly as it's meant to be. So I would ask of you, those that have a green thumb, those that don't, is to plant something. And I know not everyone has access to like potting soil or seeds or whatever. And if you don't, message me. I will find a way to get it to you. But really like create something new, and I think about creation. I don't know, that's the first thing that comes to mind. Something from a seed or something from like a little teeny leaf grows into this beautiful plant. So over the weekend, it's like sometime this weekend, find something to plant, something from scratch, right? And watch it grow and nourish it and take care of it and see that, growth is change and we continue to grow and we continue to evolve. And it's a really beautiful process and a really beautiful journey. So again, message me either through ROCovery or my personal Facebook page. When you put in Yana, it's Yana Kashper. And I'll get you potting soil or seeds or whatever. I'm not great at this by any means, but I'm really excited to try to plant something. And now that I have the time to actually take care of it, right, maybe something will stay growing. So I'm also wondering, I give out a lot of kind of asks or action items, right, every day. And I'm wondering how you guys are doing with them. There are a couple of things I suggested, and comment if you've done it and let me know your experience or share your experience if it was helpful, if it wasn't, whatever it may be. Has anyone done a list of principles that they want to live by? So the couple of things I had asked is creating a list of principles that are aligned with yourself and with your heart and the way in which you want to align your life, the way in which you want to lead your life. The other one was a structure, a calendar for your day and your week. And then there was the oh shit list of what to do in crisis. So if anyone has done them, if you could please comment and let me know what that was like for you. Was that helpful? Was it not helpful? What you thought of it? I don't see many comments, but I'm just curious how people are doing with that. Yeah. I'll wait a few moments. But mostly, and I'll read comments as they come in, as I see them. Mostly, I just really want to wish everyone some self-compassion and some self-love and to practice kindness, to treat ourselves, to treat your body, your soul, your spirit, your mind with loving hands. And whatever that may mean for you, is making sure each and every day you do something, anything, no matter how big or small, that is self-care for your soul. And whether it's taking a bath, whether it's sitting and lighting some candles. I've been lighting a lot of candles. I've been smudging. Smudging is like white sage, and you kind of go around the house and purify the energy in the air if you're into those kinds of things. Something every day to show yourself that you matter, that you're important, that you have value, that you have purpose, right? Really practice some self-care and self-love, and be patient. Be patient with your humanness. Be patient with those around you that may be struggling. Right? All we can do really is lead by example. All we have, which is a huge, huge thing. It's no small feat by any at all. Is the power in our voices and our ability to lead by example. The choices that we make. We have the power to turn someone else's day around. So I challenge you to do those things. I challenge you to wake up each morning and think, how could you be your very best today? How can you show up for others the very best way that you can? How can you give back to the universe? And whatever that looks like for you, whatever that means for you. I'm not a religious person. I don't follow any kind of religion, but I am a spiritual person. And this connection with the world, or this connection with nature, with, earth, whatever it may be, the sun, those are the things that are really important to me. So getting out in the woods, standing in the sun, I think everything happens. There's a greater plan. There's like our destiny, right? We're meant for greatness. And I firmly believe that each and every one of you, all of us, we're meant for greatness. And if we just tap into that source in our hearts and in our souls and work towards it, then, we can achieve absolutely anything. I don't see any comments around if anyone did the list of principles to live by, or any of the other things. But if you haven't, try that. Maybe do one of those like family charts. Do you remember you used to do in school? You draw a circle, you draw some lines and little bubbles all around it. I know there's a technical name for it, but write out how you want to be. What's important to you? What do you want to see in your world? And when you're faced with difficult times or difficult situations, look at that list and see if whatever it is you're going through, whatever it is you're doing, whoever it is you're letting into your life, do they align with the way you want to carry yourself, with your principles, with the things you want in your life and for yourself? So I want to hear all about it. Let me know how it goes. You don't have to wait for our little check-ins. You can just share with me, again, private message, Facebook message. We have really great Facebook Live sessions all day, also on weekends. I'm going to be putting up a kind of open hangout, a ROCovery hangout on Zoom. I'll be sharing the event and a link. We'll do weekly sort of check-ins, unstructured, just people come in to hang out, kind of like we used to do when we had a center. We're going to really utilize Zoom. Zoom is great. We're really fortunate to have something like Zoom. We'll be doing that. We're going to be doing just more and more and more. We have outreach and engagement specialists standing by if you need support, a little bit of guidance, just a little bit of encouragement to get through today. Message us, reach out. It's really... It's a great time to be sober. It's definitely a very good time to be sober. All right, guys. I'm out. There's a doggy bone. Don't worry. All is well. I'm out. Hope you have a wonderful night. And we'll talk again tomorrow. Bye.